Kuya Noel, magandang gabi eh.
Ayun, magandang gabi po. Winnipeg, magandang gabi. Manitoba, Canada, magandang gabi. Texas, USA. Bakit ko sinabing Texas, USA? Dahil we will be having a live interview sa kababayan po natin na nasa Texas. Alam naman po natin ang nangyari sa Texas ng mga nakaraang linggo, araw, na hindi inaasahan dahil yung lugar na yun hindi naman masyadong, hindi talaga nag-i-snow. Pero dahil doon sa polar vortex na sinasabi, nagbago yung lipad ng hangin. Opposite direction na nangyari kaya nagkaroon ng ganitong situation sa Texas. However, ang community ng Texas, ang state ng Texas ay ang community ron ay hindi built o hindi sila ready sa ganung klaseng sitwasyon. Kaya nakita naman natin sa mga news, sa mga videos na napapanood natin kung gaano sila nag-suffer. Ang kanina nga lang, Tito Aldo, sa narinig natin, hanggang ngayon, meron pa mga lugar doon talaga nakapila para kumuha ng malinis na tubig. So, we would like to know what's happening there in Texas, USA, sa ating mga kapatid sa South, no? At malaman natin directly mula sa kanila dahil syempre, kabayan natin sila and we are all concerned about their situation there. So, ang guest po natin ngayon ay mga entrepreneurs. Actually, sila ay may-ari ng isang business sa Texas. Ang pangalan po nila ay si Adrian at Camille de los Reyes. Sila po ay mag-asawa at sila po ay owner ng isang establishment doon called Sari Sari Restaurant. Yan. Promotion na rin. Kung kayo ay nanonood sa Texas, katatawag ko lang, they are very very hospitable, very friendly yung sumagot sa akin. Kung sino man siya, kudos to you, shout out to you. Dahil maganda yung pagkakasagot niya, they are really friendly. Yung talagang feel mo yung hospitality ng Pilipino. Sari-sari restaurant. At mamaya, bukod dun sa situation sa Texas, Tito Aldous, we will ask them as well kung ano yung business nila doon, di ba? Para naman, mag-travel tayo virtually sa Texas. Ayun.
Nakauna sila ata.
Naghihintay lang sila sa ating room and then i-admit na natin sila. Okay? Ayan po. Mamaya pag-uusapan din natin after our interview with Adrian and Camille, we will be showing our interview with Councilor Marcus Chambers, and this is all about the draft legislation ng federal government about the handgun ban na ano na po ngayon, binibigay na o binabalak na ibigay na sa mga municipal levels. We will discuss this later on after ng ating interview with our kababayan from Texas, USA na si Adrian and Camille de los Reyes. Adrian and Camille, nandiyan na po ba kayo, ma'am and sir?
Yes, we are.
Oh, ayun. Teka, may video po ba kayo? We would like to see you. Okay po, Ayun. Hello.
Hello, guys.
Hello. Ay, batang-bata pala to si parang artista.
Parang artista, no?
Oo. Alam niyo, before we start chatting about the situation there in Texas, by the way, ako si Kuya Noel, nasa kabilang gwapo, si Tito Aldous yan.
Ayun. Hello po.
Nice to meet you guys.
Yeah, nice to meet you virtually. Yeah. I actually called your store, your restaurant, and super friendly yung nyo, yung kung sino man siya. Shout out to the person who answered my phone call. Talaga namang para akong tumawag sa isang talagang Pilipinas, di ba? Dahil dun sa spirit ng talagang napaka-hospitable. Anyway, the reason why we invited you to guest sa ating programa ngayon ay nag-aalala kami kasi kami mga Manitobans, kami mga Canadians, mga Filipino-Canadians na nasa prairie, ang mga -40, -35, -50, sisiw lang yan sa amin dahil our communities are built sa ganito mga klaseng weather. That's why, kaya nangyari, nung mabalitaan namin yung polar vortex dyan sa South, nag-alala kami, hindi lamang sa buong community ng Texas, kundi lalo na sa mga Pilipino. Can you tell us what happened, kailan nagsimula, ano yung personal experiences nyo, at kung ano yung gusto nyo i-share sa amin? Go ahead, Adrian and Camille. Kung sino man sa inyo ang gustong umuna ng magkwento. Kwentuhan lang to, sir and ma'am.
Yeah, no problem. I guess I'll start. Hi, I'm Adrian. Hi guys. Thanks for having us. You know, we were affected in a lot of different ways, personally and for the business. For Sari Sari, because of the weather, because of the ice on the roads, the cars here were not prepared with things like snow tires. We our pipes too. We had, I think, the plumbing section at Home Depot and Lowe's was the busiest section over the last few days. Lots of people had incidences where their pipes were bursting. Lots of damage to interior structures. Fortunately for us, it was just some exterior pipes. So we didn't get too much damage on the interior, but we did have to close the business. We did have to close the business for several days, which is never fun. And we know that folks out there who are, we'll go into it some more, but some folks were losing power. Some folks needed some hot food.
Yeah.
No AC. There's certain parts of the city that didn't have water. So there was a lot of folks struggling, and we really, as a grocery store, we wanted to be there for the community, and it was just very difficult for us, for our employees to get to work safely. For one, two, the trucks that normally supply us that are coming from other cities in San Antonio, like Houston and Dallas, were delayed as well. So our supply wasn't coming in. The concern over the safety of our staff, the safety of our customers, we didn't think it was a good idea to open. So that's from my perspective for the restaurant. But for us at home, you know, we did lose power for a good the longest was almost 24 hours. I know you guys are so used to such cold temperatures. But for us, you know, it was like 10 degrees, 15 in that range. And, we're Texans, you know, we're used to the heat. That's, we have warm winters too. We barely have cold winters. It doesn't last very long, maybe a month and a half, 2 months tops. The city was doing something called rolling blackouts, where there was time frames where we would have power. So it was just very random though. We were trying to calculate it so that way we can time when we can cook, when we can prepare something, so that way we can, you know, we're good for the next 6 hours or so without power. But we would get 6 hours with power, 6 hours without, and then it became like 4 hours without. And then they gave it to us for like 30 minutes, and then we would lose it for 18 hours. So we just weren't sure how to properly prepare. So a lot of folks had to, you know, get creative. We were using our grill outside, hooked up to a propane tank, so that way we could at least heat some water, you know, make some eggs for the kids. We have 3 kids, 7, 5, and 3 years old here with us. So, you know, just like everybody else, we were just trying to figure it all out. But yeah, the city's thawing out. We're getting some warmer temperatures. Everybody's on the road. The highways are opening up again. So, you know, things seem to be getting a little bit more normal. As of today, just today, it's very recent that we're feeling a little bit of normalcy, you know, happening here.
What's the current weather now there? What's the temperature look like there? Camille. 5.
55.
Oh, 55. Okay. By the way, you're using Fahrenheit, right?
Yes, we are.
Yeah, we're using Celsius here. So, yeah. So medyo malamig pa rin.
Yes, but this is usually how our winters are. They're pretty mild.
Yeah, okay.
Between the 30s and 60s.
Okay.
This is comfortable for us.
Now, I know that, you know, here in Winnipeg or here in Canada, I'm pretty sure that also in the States, Filipino communities are close-knit. Like, for example, especially when a disaster happens, instantly we will get together to do something to help our fellow kababayans. How many? What's the population of the Filipinos there, and what has been happening there in terms of helping each other?
Oh, it's been really miraculous, actually. I think Texas as a whole, Texas as a state, has been really supportive for their fellow community, for their fellow neighbor. Just on Facebook, it was really the only thing we could do was use our cellular data when the power was out to, find out what was going on. So as far as people on Facebook, everybody was reaching out, just offering up whether or not they had water or heat, reaching out to their neighbor, just offering whatever goods they had, eggs, milk, bread. And I'm not sure exactly how big our Filipino community is now, but it's really grown. Every day we meet new people in the store, in the restaurant. But we do have some Filipino organizations, at least on Facebook, also some groups where people were reaching out, offering, food. Other people even felt comfortable enough to ask for help. So when that happened, there were a lot of volunteers. You would see a lot of correspondence, people reaching out, trying to get other people fed, trying to feed other people that they knew that were stuck. It was just really wonderful to see everybody coming together in the Filipino community and really throughout Texas. It's been really great as a state to see everybody coming together.
Yeah. As young business owners, I visited your website and it's awesome. After this pandemic, Aldous and I will, gonna go south and visit your restaurant.
Please do.
And I'm so amazed with the way you with your business. Actually, you have that truck, right? And you have that sari market. Tell us about your business while we're chatting here. And it's good for a promotion for Winnipeggers here, for Manitobans. After the pandemic, you know what? Gigil na gigil na. You know what I mean by gigil na gigil? We are so excited to end this pandemic because Canadians want to go out and drive to the States and to visit you guys. So it's your chance to promote your restaurant to our kababayans here in Canada. Go ahead, Camille and Adrian.
Sure, please. Thank you so much for this platform. We welcome all of you Canadians to come visit us down here in Texas. Y'all, that's what we say here. But yes, we started this business. It was started by my parents more than 20 years ago, 1995. They opened the market, started in our garage. Then they started a market that had fresh produce. It was really hard to get Asian products in San Antonio at that time. There weren't any Filipino stores, and our food is very particular, especially to our different regions. It's hard to find certain items to make those nostalgic foods. But I grew up around my dad's cooking at family parties. He was always cooking for everyone, so everyone else encouraged him to open a restaurant. That's what some of our customers were saying. They did that about 3 years later, 1998 or so. We've been open ever since. The customers in the community, the San Antonio area, have really supported us this whole time. And when we took it over in 2016, it really just became our mission to promote Filipino food to the community, to show San Antonio what Filipino food was about. Because my parents just, relied on the Filipinos and word of mouth. They didn't do any marketing. And we knew that there was something special here, growing up here, and always having to explain yourself as a Filipino. What is a Filipino? Who are you? Where are you from?
Yeah.
It's really important for us for me to be able to promote my dad's cooking, to show what our Filipino food is about and our culture. I'm glad that you said that about whoever it was that answered the phone, because it is something that we want to share, our Filipino friendliness, our hospitality. And it's a wonderful platform to be able to do that during these disasters and during the pandemic. It's given us a great opportunity to really feel like we're serving the community by being able to offer products for them and bring them rice and offer home cooked meals. To us, they're still home cooked. Even though our restaurant's growing, definitely we're feeding more people. It's very heartwarming, and I'm glad to see the community growing.
And like-
What's your specialty? If sorry, Adrian, if Aldous and I will drive there, what's the best to order?
The crispy pata, hands down. It's 5 pounds. Everybody tells us it's the best they've ever had. It's great. It's a lot of meat, not too many knuckles, just a lot of meat, crispy skin.
How about the because I saw in the website the big halo halo?
Yes.
What the heck is that? How many ounces is that?
Texas, it's the thing about Texas, you everything is bigger in Texas. Is
Oh,
is
That's
what
the
they say.
saying.
So you guys of course have had a halo halo, traditional halo halo, right? Your nata de coco, your shaved ice, your kaong, your ube if you use ube
Yeah.
or ube ice cream, leche flan, whatever. But we were thinking, since everything is bigger in Texas, what's a way to bring attention to one of our favorite desserts, one of our most popular desserts, one of the most popular desserts coming from the Philippines. So we decided to do 140 ounce.
140 ounce.
140 ounce.
My God, man.
You're talking like
Like
6
find the
scoops
biggest
of
one.
ube ice cream, like whole can of condensed milk, whole can of evaporated milk. It's just like full jars of nata de coco. It's a lot of food, and we even made it a challenge to see if anybody could finish it. Of course not, But yeah, that was a really neat experience, and that's what I wanted to also add. Filipino food here in San Antonio is something that is not mainstream yet.
Yeah.
The Filipino community, you asked how big is the population here? We're not too sure, but it's really, really small, but it's growing. There's an influx of folks moving here from California specifically, it seems like. A lot of folks from the West Coast have been moving to San Antonio. It might be the cost of living. I'm not too sure. But Filipino food specifically, our mission has been to share our food, share our culture with the city of San Antonio. It's predominantly a Hispanic community.
Mhm.
So you'll see lots of taco shops, lots of Mexican food, every corner. So we're trying to get creative. We try to do things like Filipino adobo tacos, for example, or
That's awesome.
things like that. Like just a way to fuse with Mexican, the Hispanic food with some Filipino flavors. And we're trying to bring other folks into the restaurant to try Filipino food. And like you said, I'm so glad. I wish you remembered her name, the person you answered the phone, so I could just give her a big hug tomorrow. But that's one of the things that we really strive for. I think when we say sharing Filipino culture, it's how sweet we are. Every Filipino party I go to, they just want to feed you and love you and like make sure you're having a good time. And that's what we try to do with our customers. And that's what we try to strive for. And we try to have our staff follow along. And hopefully, we're working for consistency. And I'm glad you got to experience that today. But yeah, we're just trying to get Filipino.
Just on the phone call, I experienced that. I felt that. Oh, Pinoy. Very hospitable. Well, Adrian and Camille, maraming salamat. Thank you very much to you guys. And I hope Aldous and I, we'll get together in person after this crazy pandemic. We'll go south, and you are also welcome here in Manitoba, in Winnipeg, Manitoba. We have lots of Filipinos here. At least we have 80,000 strong Filipinos here.
We need to visit. I have a cousin there. Shout out.
Yeah, shout out. What's your cousin's name?
Francesca
Francesca from Winnipeg.
from Winnipeg. Well,
Yeah.
and Houston.
Okay. And also, we were supposed to be having another Filipino from Texas. Her name is, maybe you know her, I don't know, June Ella. She's a registered nurse at Houston Methodist Hospital. However, she just had her vaccination. So sabi niya yung joints niya masasakit. So
Yeah.
she apologized for not being able to attend. But for sure, we will be touching base again, Camille and Adrian, to check out your situation there. And if you have any promotion for the Canadians like us, just give us a shout and you are free to promote your business here. All the best to you guys. And thank you very much
Thank you so
sa inyong
much.
pag-guest dito.
Thank you.
God bless you.
God bless you. Thank
All right. See you. Bye-bye. So yan po mga kaibigan natin from States. No? Ito mo naman mga batang-bata, Tito Aldous.
Kaya nga, nakaka-inspire yung kanilang
Oo.
kwento.
Nagutom
No?
ako.
Ako rin sa Crispy Pata.
Oo, si Pata. Kaya kayo, pupunta kayo ng States. Meron na tayong mga kaibigan doon. Camille and Adrian de los Reyes. Sila
Yes.
po ang may-ari ng Sari Sari Restaurant. Meron silang supermarket, meron silang restaurant, at meron silang mobile cart.
Double
Yung magala sa isa yun sa mga itinerary pagkatapos ng pandemic, gala na punta ng Texas.
Texas
Ah?
agad-agad.
Oo, agad-agad. Puntahan nyo si Camille at si Adrian, mga kababayan natin.
Sari-sari restaurant. Try yan.
Oo.
Crispy Pata at Halo-Halo.
Oo. Tsaka si June Ella, yung kaibigan natin
Yes
na
po.
dapat kasama natin sa interview ngayon. Siya ay isang registered nurse sa Houston Methodist Hospital. At ang katetext niya lang sa akin, sorry kuya, nagpa-vaccine siya.
Mhm.
Hindi siya, I don't really feel good right now. At masakit daw yung mga joints niya. Siya ay nagtatrabaho sa Houston Methodist Sugarland Hospital. Si
Ayun.
June Ella. Pagaling ka, June. At next time, i-guess ka namin at malaman ang situation dyan sa Texas. So, kung meron kayong mga kababayan sa mag-anak sa Texas, tawag-tawagan nyo naman sila, kumustahin dahil hindi sila sanay sa snow.
Winter.
Pero ngayon, medyo nag-normalize na, hopefully ay maayos na ang weather doon. Let's pray for them. Okay.
Ayun. Anong next topic natin, Kuya Nebel? Ito
Ay,
yung medyo
naku, baril.
Tama-tama. Texas, mahilig sa baril. Mahilig sila sa
Baril.
Sa mga connection tayo, mga baril dito.
Oo.
Sa Winnipeg. Ay, Manitoba,
Oo.
no?
Barilan. Kasi, ito yung tinatawag na, ito dapat malaman ng mga kababayan natin to.
Mhm.
Dahil ito po ay draft lamang, proposal. Hindi pa ito naisa sa pabatas, pero ito ay isang proposed changes. Particularly
Mhm.
doon sa control ng mga pistols, yung mga handguns.
Yeah.
Dati yan kasi ang may control niyan ay ang federal, no?
Mhm.
Ngayon, itong Bill C-21, nagbibigay ito ng kapangyarihan sa mga municipal city governments tulad ng Winnipeg
Mhm.
na gumawa ng mga bylaws para i-ban yung mga handguns. So maraming nagtaas ang kilay dahil yung mga kasi kadalasan dito sa Winnipeg, sa Manitoba, yung may mga may may-ari ng mga handguns. Yan naman hindi ginagamit yan sa kasamaan eh. Ginagamit yan sa sports.
Sa recreation.
O recreation. May mga sila, meron silang mga permit,
Mhm.
ginagamit nila yan, hindi sa pag-assault, kundi ginagamit nila yan sa target shooting. Kaya sabi ng marami, lalo na yung mga gun owners,
Mhm.
ang tinatarget nyo rito hindi yung mga kriminal, hindi yung mga sindikato. Ang tinatarget nyo dito, yung mga legit na mga tao na meron namang permit na hindi naman ginagamit ang baril sa kasamaan.
Mhm.
Kaya marami nag-oppose dahil hindi nga naman fair sa kanila. Ibiruin mo kung ikaw, kung hobbyist ka, may baril ka.
Mhm.
Tulad nung kakilala natin, si Mark.
Mahilig sa baril.
yung realtor nating kaibigan. Ang hilig na talaga, target shooting. Maapektuhan sila. Ang dami ring mga kababae natin sa Winnipeg. Alam ko marami dito na may hilig ng target shooting. Basahin niyo yung Bill C-21 at tawagan nyo yung mga city councilors nyo. Kasi ito, ang gusto ng federal government, ang mga city government na ang maghawak at magkontrol nito. Sabi ni Brian Pallister din, teka muna, kailangan ang federal ang gumawa niyan dahil ang magiging isa pang problema nito yung standard,
hindi pare-pareho.
yung standardization and uniformity. Halimbawa, yung sa Winnipeg, ganito yung batas. Pagdating mo ng Brandon, ganito yung batas. Pagdating mo ng Morden, kasi iba't ibang municipalities yan Kaya ang issue dan, yung uniformity. Ano susundin nila, di ba? Magkakaibang syudad yan. Kaya masalimuot po to. Kaya mamaya, papakita namin sa inyo yung interview natin kay Marcus Chambers. Siya po yung councilor dito sa Winnipeg. At the same time, he is the chair of the Winnipeg Police Board. At sabi niya, mamaya, mapapakinggan nyo, babalansehin niya dahil maraming nagre-reklamo at maraming may gusto. Diba? Ano sa palagay nyo? Kung kayo ay may barel o wala man kayong barel, ano ang comment nyo dito sa panukala? Ayun, panukala pala. Propose. Panukala ng federal government ni Prime Minister Justin Trudeau para ibigay sa mga city government ang kapangyarihan upang i-control ang ban para sa mga handguns. Ito ba ay makatarungan? Ito ba ay tama? Talaga bang ito ay makakatulong para ma-reduce ang ating krimen? Lalo-lalo na sa Winnipeg, di ba?
Ito yung
mataas ang ating homicide.
Maraming mataas na krimen ngayon. Kuya Noel
Oo, lalo na sa Winnipeg.
Nakakapagtaka lang. Saan nila kinukuha ang handgun nila?
Ayun, magandang tanong yan, Tito Aldous. Kasi kausap nga natin kanina mga taga-states. Ang talagang issue dyan, Tito Aldous, ang mga sindikato ng boga, galing sa South.
Yes.
Ayun. Yun ang dapat i-control. Kaya mamaya, actually yun, diniscuss namin yun ni Councilor Marcus Chambers na ang problema talaga, yung pagpasok dito ng mga illegal na boga, unfortunately, galing ng South. Ayun dapat nang i-control. Diba? Sana naman, di galing Texas, no? Pero, mamaya panoorin po natin. Ngayon na, panoorin na natin.
Sige.
Para pagkatapos ng ating interview, malaman yung inyong opinion tungkol doon. Ito po ang ating interview with Councilor Marcus Chambers, and we talk about the proposed legislation ng federal government about the control and ban of handguns na binibigay na po sa mga city government. Ito po ay isang proposal pa lamang, pero kayo na po ang mag-decide kung ito po ay inyong tatanggapin. Alright? Dali lang po. Ito po tayo.
Pasok.
And go.
Mabuhay to all my Pinoy brothers and sisters.
There you go. Mabuhay. Perfect. So, hold on, sir. And let's talk about first, before we go to the discussing about the Black History Month, Counselor, let's talk about for a bit about Bill C-21. I know this draft legislation includes the support of the federal government to municipalities that wish to restrict handguns. However, critics say that this handgun ban is targeting the wrong people. It is targeting sports shooters and not doing anything to stop the criminal element from getting guns, which are mostly coming across from the United States. What is your overall take on this, being the chair of Winnipeg Police Board, and how will this actually work on a city level, sir?
Well, I am very much looking forward to the discussion and finding out more information since this proposed ban in the first draft of this legislation came out. There have been many different entities that have reached out to me. Of course, we want to be respectful to those whose lives have been affected or family members have been affected through gun violence. But you're absolutely right. It does target those law-abiding citizens who do own handguns and are using it for sport and recreation purposes that already adhere to the strict gun laws with respect to storage and transport of guns, handguns, and that's the wrong message that we want to be sending, or what this legislation is sending. You're absolutely right that it's all of the guns that are coming in through the borders that are illegal, that are being smuggled into our cities. And why isn't there a ban on the illicit drugs that people are using these guns to protect? That's where the ban should be focused on, is the illicit drugs, and not the legal owners of guns that are using them in a very respectful and legal way. So I want to listen to the Canadian Association of Chiefs of Police. I want to listen to the advocates for that, as I said, have had or have been victims of illegal gun usage, as well as those that are legal gun users and have a stake in this as well.
Okay. So once that consultation is done, then would there be a municipal or city ordinance to affect this?
And I think that's where the federal legislation is leaning towards, is letting the municipalities set the bylaws in terms of whether it's an outright ban within the municipality, which means that if you are a gun owner, you would no longer be able to have it safely stored in your home. And then transport, obviously, it would be safe at a safe site, or probably a gun range. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to see piecemeal bylaws across jurisdictions. Brandon may do things differently than what we do here in the city of Winnipeg, and then there's confusion around that. So I think that there's a role for the province to play as well in setting consistent standards across the province. But again, I do want to hear from gun enthusiasts that are legal gun owners that go through a rigorous process to get a gun license. I do want to hear from them, and I also want to hear from the advocates to see if we can find some common ground to make our streets safer.
Yeah, speaking of standard, as you mentioned, and uniformity, Premier Pallister said, referring to handgun ban, of course, he said, I would support a national program that would provide greater security and respect the rights of honest farmers and hunters and people who use firearms in an appropriate and safe manner. A similar statement was issued also by Mayor Brian Bowman. However, our Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, has previously said he won't let resistance from some premiers to stop plans for the municipal bans. What is your stand on this?
Well, and I hate to criticize any level of government, knowing that how difficult it is to strike that right balance. But I think the federal government needs to take more leadership on this in terms of the legislation, and I'm hopeful that there will be amendments that are proposed, or that they'll be able to tighten it through the regulations, that the federal government will take more leadership, that there is that consistency and uniformity across the provinces. Again, I want to see, I don't want to see there to be any confusion in terms of what we do differently than Brandon, than Portage La Prairie, than Selkirk, et cetera, et cetera. So I think that the federal government needs to take more leadership on this. But having said that, they should also be listening to all sides of the argument and not just the advocates on either side.
So i-pause muna natin dun yung ating interview, Tito Aldous, dahil mawawala na yung ating, matatapos na ang ating Zoom sharing. Kung napanood niyo po yon, kayo na mag-decide kung kayo ay may-ari ng mga handguns. Ang pwede po natin gawin is to reach out to our city councilors, even MLA siguro, pati federal MPs natin, para malaman yung side nyo. Lalong-lalo na if you are a gun owner. Ginagamit nyo ang baril na yon for recreational purposes for target shooting. Dahil hindi very ambiguous eh. Kumbaga binigay na lang basta ng federal government ang control, pero ang gagawa ng bylaws ay yung mga city and municipal government. There should be, sabi nga ni Pallister, ni Premier, although hindi natin lahat nag-agree sa mga polisiya niya, pero this time, tama yung sinabi niya, there should be standard and uniformity in terms of implementing the bylaws. So, yun po. At meron po tayong 2 minutes na lang mga kapatid. At batiin na natin in 1 minute ang ating mga advertisers and sponsors.
Mabilisan na lang ito, Kuya Nabel.
Mabilisan.
Ayun. Yung ating taga-Texas, M&M Care Services, Kuya's Foods, of course, Aldous Guzman Funeral Homes, Patricia Salceda Therapeutic Massage Center, yung ating Red Hot Dog, Santa Lucia Hot Dog,
Sarap niya.
Witty Pinoy.
Ay!
Nako.
So, parang
course.
masikip na sa akin.
Ako rin. COVID fat. Saka yung ating Bake Right Bakery.
Ay, sarap. May lechon. May lechon na. Lechon belly.
Lechon Bell. Ay, available na, Kuya Noel.
Oo.
Kanjan Water. Yung ating padalahan. Millennial.
Iyo.
And of course, yung ating Red Closet.
Iya. Red Ghost.
Nakalimutan pa ba tayo, Kuya Noel?
Yung padalahan, millennial, tapos yung isa pa na, yung mga wardrobe.
Oh, si Red Closet.
Ayun, si Red Closet pala yun. At syempre, bago tayo magtapos, papakita natin syempre yung ating advocacy sa ating nawawalang kababayan.
Ayun.
Nawawala pa rin po. Share. Makikita nyo sa ating screen. Nawawala pa rin po. Still missing, Eduardo Balakwit, also known as Eddie. Nawala po noong June 4, 2018. Kung kayo po ay may impormasyon, tumawag lang po sa 204-986-6508. Yan po ang ating kababayan nang hanggang ngayon ay nawawala si Kuya Eduardo Balakwit. At next week, makakausap natin si Councilor Vivian Santos.
Ayun.
At meron siyang i-announce sa ating programa na housing program.
Yun,
Abangan
big news
po
yan,
natin yan, si Councilor Vivian Santos sa Sabado alas 7:30 dito lang sa
Kuya Noel and Tito Aldous Show.
Maraming po salamat. Mabuhay Winnipeg. Thank you very much guys. See you again next week.
Okay. Thank you po.
Bye-bye.
Bye.